First of all, do you have any word on Trey Lyles?
I know he's trying to play, but he wants to play. He was not at shoot around today, but I'm not sure if our medical people have cleared him yet. I don't know if they've seen him this evening or whatever. Yeah.
Okay. And you guys have, the games that you've lost, it seems this year more than last year, they're extreme. Like, I think 6 here, 9 losses are by double figures. Is there something you're seeing in those games that there's some sort of common thread that's causing the big losses, or you just think it's an anomaly?
Well, the first thing I will say is this: I've been fortunate, blessed, lucky, however you want to call it, to be in this league. My first year was 1992, so I've been a long time. Been a head coach quite a bit. Been with some good teams. Been with 3 different teams that went to the finals once as a head coach. And I say that because I could take any 6 times going to the final. I could probably take any year. I know in 18, 19, when we went to the finals, when I was with the Warriors, we had a minimum of 5 Hall of Famers on that team. We got smacked 7 or 8 times by 20 plus points. Our worst loss coming to Dallas by 35 points. So to let everybody know, that's gonna happen. And it's probably gonna happen again, okay? Even with great teams. And we had a great team when you're talking about Durant, Curry, Draymond, Clay, Andre, all in their prime. You know, it's first thing. And then on top of that too, even our first game against Houston that year, we got smacked by 21 points. Game 2, we got beat. Game 3, we got beat. Game 4, we squeaked out a win. And we went to the finals. We represented the West. I'm not saying this team is going to the finals. That's what we're shooting for, and that's what I'm believing in this team. But stuff's going to happen. And I said this earlier when we were 12-8. We were 12-8 this year. Last year we were 11-9, and Fox missed 5 games so far this year. Not only that, we have not shot the ball nowhere near what we shot at the start of last year. Keegan missed how many games this year? I mean, I can go on and on about the difference. And then there's expectations that we as a group need to deal with. So I want us to get all that out the way before going down the road of, do we see a common thread? Well, the reality of it is the teams that have beat us now, it's a little tough with Houston, the 2 Houston losses, because Fox didn't play, and maybe we have trouble with them when we play them. I don't know. You know, the one Golden State game that we lost could have gone either way. Clay hit a tough shot at the buzzer. So right there is 3, and Fox didn't play. So that's 3 of or 9 losses that are kind of in question now. We got beat 3 times by New Orleans. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And then we got beat twice by the Clippers. And the reality of it is, the Clippers for sure, they're a tough matchup for us. Can we beat them? I think we can beat them. You know, it's just my personal feel, but we have to play at a high level. And not only that, if we're not making shots, which I went back and obviously watched the tape, and I thought our threes were good threes, they just didn't go in. If we're not making shots, then we have to be able to get stops. We have to be able to get out in transition. We have to be able to offense rebound, you know, and do the grimy, gritty things when you're playing a team like that. And same with New Orleans. You know, if we're not making shots, and they're long, they're active, they're pretty good defensively, but when we're not making shots, we have to do those things in order to win games. And if you think back on the last 2 games that we won when Fox was out, with Oklahoma City and Portland. You know, Portland can score. They've scored on some pretty good defensive teams, but I think we won that game 100-104. Even against Oklahoma City, it was 105-98. Those were probably our 2 best overall from end-to-end defensive games. And I know against Oklahoma City we didn't shoot. We shot 27% from the 3, but we had 20-something, I think, fast break points, and we had 19, 20 second chance points. And when you go back and watch the film, you know, I know they missed some shots, and they probably feel that way, but we did a pretty good job defensively. So, you know, can we be better? Yes. Are those some things that we need to look at when we play teams like that? Yes. And do I think we can do it? Yes, I think we can do it, but I can sit here and say we got to go prove it to show everybody that we can do it at the end of the day. So sorry about that 6-minute answer.
Came out earlier.
5 minute answer, okay. Thank you, Jay, I appreciate you. It's the first time somebody told me I was shorter than what I actually was. Thank you. But go ahead.
Came out earlier today. You guys signed Juan Toscano-Anderson. If you're able to talk about it, what's your relationship like with him, and what do you think he brings to this group?
Had we officially signed one?
Not official from
No.
the team
No.
standpoint.
So that would be, because I don't even know if we've officially done it, but if we do officially do it, I'll answer anything you may ask.
The last Thunder game last month was, a kind of example of a game where maybe you didn't shoot well, but defense really stood up. I know Fox was talking about it. I thought that might have been the finest defensive performance of the season so far. How much do you kind of use that as an example of not only tonight, but just in games against some of those teams with good defense?
No, we definitely talked about it, and because after the Clipper game, I told our guys, I said, we have to do a better job because our threes aren't we got good shooters and we're not shooting the ball at the level that I think we will eventually be shooting at consistently. We're heading in the right direction, getting there, but we still have a little ways to go. Like about a week ago, I think we looked in our catch and shoot threes. We were 30th in the NBA on catch and shoot threes. And we have, you guys, and I don't have to tell you guys, but we have way better shooters than to be 30th in the NBA on catch and shoot threes. And our threes, especially the catch and shoot ones, are pretty good. It's not like we catch a shoot, hold it, jab, and then shoot it contested. They're usually off of sprays. And so that's a big part in what we're trying to do right to help us get there. But I told our guys after the game, I said, hey, we can still win games, and we have to have that mindset, but there has to be a grittiness to us defensively. And both times we played the Clippers, they didn't feel us at all, and we didn't get out in transition. And there has to be, they did something about it, too. So I'm not just saying, just because I say it's going to happen. And then we didn't offensive rebound. And so those are things that we're going to have to figure out how we can do it at a higher level when we play those types of teams. And Oklahoma City's a good team. They're 5th in the NBA or something like that defensively, and they got guys spearheaded by Lou Dort that love that end of the floor. And so if the 3 ball doesn't go down like it didn't go down in the last game, we got to figure out a way to win, quote unquote, ugly. That's how teams, again, in my opinion, advance in the playoffs, because pretty offenses don't last long come playoff time.
Mike, I'm curious back here. Shea's off to a great start defensively, and obviously he's not typically known for that. He's league leader in steals by a mile, but also he's not necessarily the point of attack guy all the time. So with a guy like that, just how do you deal with him as a defender, and how in your years in this league watching him, have you kind of seen him shape that end of the floor?
Mark's a great coach, but I'm gonna give all the credit to Jordy, because he's my guy. Canada basketball this summer, baby. Jordy taught me a lot of tricks, but joking, Mark. But no, Oklahoma City, led by Mark, has done a great job developing their young guys. You can see it not just in him. Look at the growth of Lou Dort, even the growth of Giddey, the Williams, both Williams, but even the one from Santa Clara, just every year. And I can go on about all of their guys. You can see the growth on that end of the floor, them embracing that end of the floor, and Shea's no different. So at his size and length and feel or intelligence, however you want to call it, it's no surprise that he's starting to form an identity as a defensive guy, because he has all the tools, including the smarts and or feel to do it. And he's with a coach and GM and Sam Presti that are going to demand that they do it at a high level.
Mike, I'm going to ask you to add on to that 5-minute answer earlier a little bit.
Okay.
Going back to, you're talking about the 20 and 30 point losses with a team like that, like Golden State. I guess, do you have to go through something like that to understand how to get out of that? Or how did that team figure out through going through that to overcome it? And how do you expect your team to, I guess, do the same?
What I would say, and I've said this to a couple of people that have asked me kind of questions along that line, is sometimes you got to get punched in the mouth, or you got to go through adversity, or you got to go through an experience that doesn't feel good in order to either A, figure it out, or B, realize, you know what, maybe we need to change something. I don't know what it is, and that's why I don't care what happens at the end of the day. This year, whether we win an NBA championship or we don't make the playoff or whatever, I will go to my grave saying that the best thing to do for us this year, and I agree with what Monty and Wes wanted to do, was to bring back the core, because you have to get a feel for what your guys can do. And this year is different from last year. Now, last year there were no expectations. Guys played free and fun and easy, and nobody took it serious. And now there's some pressure. Who gonna fold to the pressure, or who's gonna step up on both ends? Who's gonna try to figure out, okay, hey, we got smacked by 30. What can we do the next game, or how can we avoid it? Not even just the next game against that team, but even like tonight, and especially against them next time. But if we happen to lose a third game against the Clippers, that doesn't mean it's the end of the world. That's why I told that story with the Houston Rockets in a finals year. This league is hard and it's unforgiving, and everybody has a short memory. It's what have you done for me lately? So all of our guys, including myself, need to figure this out and step up and try to get this done the right way. So it is really important for us to be able to, as a group, figure out how can we avoid it. It's going to probably happen again, knock on wood, and I hope it doesn't. But I hope that we can learn and grow from it and show some fight, even if we're down. And we didn't show much fight in that game, especially when we got down.
Two more.
Mike, I'm sorry, Jason. Coach, back to OKC. They're not really good offensive rebounding team, but I guess they make up for that because they had fifth defensive rating in the league. But they do give up a lot of threes. I think they're down at the bottom somewhere. But you did talk about continuing shooting, the Kings that is. Just want to know how you keep them, despite having a bad shooting night and a magnificent shooting night the night before. How do you get them to get back into that groove and keep shooting against a team like this that give up a lot of threes?
Well, it's our identity to try to play fast, and they also know that if you're open, you got to let it fly. We always preach that. So even though we didn't shoot the ball well, I think we still shot close to 43s against the Clippers. So I don't think our guys will stop shooting, if that's what you're asking. Now, in terms of making them, again, you hope you make them. I mean, just because I tell them something, that doesn't mean they're gonna go in. I've never, not one time, obviously, do I ever tell them to miss it or anything. You wanna give them confidence, and you wanna tell them to keep shooting, even if they're missing them. Just if you're open, you gotta let it fly. And I think our guys are confident enough to believe that the next one's gonna go in, and it's evident in the games where we didn't shoot a great percentage. Like even against these guys, we shot 27% from the three. I think we shot 40-something threes against them, if I'm not mistaken. And so as long as we keep shooting them, I believe that with the shooters we have, the shots will go in. And I think they believe it too. When I would get worried is if we stop shooting them or stop passing up open threes, because to pass up an open shot is messing with the basketball gods. And you don't want to mess with the basketball guys, because the only negative things will happen after that.
Mike, you've got Fox and Shea going head to head, tonight for the first time this season. I know, matchups are not purely one-on-one anywhere in the NBA, but just the similarities, both 25, both from Kentucky, both coming off all NBA seasons and being two of the top young point guards in the league. Like, I don't know, what are your thoughts on that matchup and just the quality of players that these two guys are?
Jay, I would say from a fan standpoint, the media standpoint, man, it's a fun matchup, because you're talking about two of the younger stars in this league that are up and coming, and that should have some responsibility to bear the torch going forward. And so from that standpoint, it's exciting. Obviously all the stuff that they accomplished last year, that speaks for itself. I think highly of both the young players, but at the end of the day, for us, it's not a thing that we compare or get into or anything like that. We got to go play against their team just like they got to come play against our team. But a neat thing that, in my opinion, the NBA can for sure market going forward because they're both very, very explosive, young, talented, fun players to watch.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.